What's good? Brian Tong here with the Apple Byte. You can all recite it with me. It's everything good and bad inside the world of Apple, so let's get to it. Now, the iPad Pro is still headlining the latest news, especially after the results of testing by DisplayMate categorized it as a top-tier display. The iPad Pro rated very good or excellent in many categories, but it fell short to the iPad Mini 4's display that set performance records for the best absolute color accuracy, color gamut, image contrast, record low reflectance, and more. Now, Microsoft Surface Pro 4 earned an overall better grade than the iPad Pro display as well. DisplayMate says the iPad Mini 4's display unquestionably is the best and most accurate display of any LCD tablet they've tested. But DisplayMate, the Pro is the only iPad that can use a pencil, the Apple Pencil that maybe 5% of all iPad users are really going to use daily, and I know I'm being generous. Come on, that has to count for something. Or nothing. Look, I was trying to make people who got one feel better. Now, some iPad Pros are becoming unresponsive after charging overnight and are requiring a hard restart to turn them back on. How do I know this? Because I'm one of those people. See, I thought it was broken at first, and it's happened multiple times. Apple has not officially commented on the matter, and stories like this one only get real when they affect you, and guess what? It affected me. So, you're getting a bad Apple. Apple. All right, you know, I read the comments, and it feels like some of you just watch the show just for the bad apples, and you don't care about anything else. So, you know what? That's a bad apple on you. Now I feel better. All right, some Apple stores are receiving super limited stock of the Apple Pencil, and the early online pre-orders should be arriving by the end of next week. That's good for people who want the thing that makes the iPad Pro unique, but how durable is it? It's the internet, and we know people love destroying tech all the time just cuz. So Zach Straley kept pushing on it and bending it and seeing what it took to break the Apple stylus. I mean pencil. So, in conclusion, if you bend something hard enough and enough times, it probably bends and ends up breaking. Okay, we know the iPad Pro comes in silver, gold, and space gray, but do you believe that the silver iPad with a gold Touch ID ring exists? Well, believe it, there is such thing as a multicultural iPad Pro. A 9to5 Mac reader shared what Apple calls an extremely rare manufacturing error, and what did he do? Do what anyone else would and sell it on eBay. Apple's selling a magnetic Apple Watch dock of its own for $79. Your Apple Watch can lay flat on it or rest on its side and be docked. Its design looks like a white UFO and will only really match your home if you live in an Apple retail store. Speaking of $79, people who listen to our Apple Byte Extra Crunchy audio podcast, yes, that's a long-form version of the show with more stories and more talking and more everything. You all should just check it out. Well, the question came up, if Apple sold the new Apple TV touchpad remote separately, and they do, for $79. So get this, bundled together for $149 means the new Apple TV remote costs more than the entry-level Apple TV box. I repeat, the remote costs more than the Apple TV. Holy crap! That's just horrible. And yes, that's another bad Apple. All right. A Wall Street Journal report says Apple and banks are in talks for its own mobile person-to-person payment service. It's basically like PayPal or Venmo, specifically for Apple Pay and Apple devices. Apple was granted a patent for a person-to-person payment system using devices that communicate wirelessly earlier this year. It's not clear how Apple expects to make money off this, but a launch for the feature could get off the ground next year. Now, Apple Pay is also making some progress globally. In the UK, Tesco Bank and TSB have launched Apple Pay support. Apple Pay is also finally available in Canada and for my friends down under in Australia, but only if you're using American Express. I know, baby steps, but it's better than nothing for now. And most importantly to me, Apple Pay will roll out to Domino's and Cinnabon locations by the beginning of next year. Seriously, Cinnabon. It's my secret to keeping me all, sleek and slim. And in a story that deserves attention, some of you might have seen the video clip of a group of black teens who were asked by an Apple Store employee in Australia to leave the store because employees were worried they would steal something.
They're just worried you might steal something?
Why would we steal something?
Yes. It's as bad as it sounds.
End of discussion.
Yeah.
I need to ask you to leave our store.
Now, the senior manager at the store later invited the teens back to apologize and made it clear they were welcome anytime. The Sydney Morning Herald reports one of the teens said she apologized to us and told us that we are welcome here anytime. It feels like we have justice now. Tim Cook then sent an internal memo to employees making it clear what happened was unacceptable and the video does not represent Apple's values. The message, Apple is open. Now, this type of stuff happens every day, everywhere in this world, and yeah, it's wrong. But kudos to the store's manager and Apple for handling this correctly, and I seriously hope there is something that we can all take away from this. Really, just be good to people. All right, that's going to do it for this week's show. You can send me your questions and comments to the applebyte@cnet.com or tweet me at Brian Tong. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you all next week for another Bite of the Apple.